everyone, so just a follow-on video from the health check that I done previously on Gizmo. So I've now just filled out the form that I showed you. I've been very informative, very detailed. I haven't left anything blank or nothing's vague. So just to run through it with you, just so you have an idea of what you should be writing down when you fill out a health check. So with his eyes, for both the right and the left eye, I've put that they were very bright and clear. There was no discharge, they weren't sore, he wasn't flinching, or there wasn't any sensitivity to any light. He seemed quite happy and aware of everything. So they would be classed as healthy eyes and not unhealthy. His ears, there was no odour, they were very clear, there was no wax or debris, there was no inflammation, no swelling, no redness. As you can see, he had very short ears, which obviously does help with the ear infections. It is the dogs that have the longer ears that are likely to have more chance of getting an ear infection. With his nose, there was no crusting, it wasn't runny, there was no discharge, no bleeding, his nose was wet, and he had no scabs or cuts. So again, I've noted down everything that I found on his nose or didn't find on his nose. His mouth, teeth and gums, I have noted that his teeth had quite a lot of tartar, but his gums weren't affected by this. His gums were still pink, they weren't sore, they weren't inflamed. He had good capillary refill, which means the colour returned to his gum very quickly, within a few seconds after I pressed it slightly. With his skin condition, there was no dandruff, no scabs or wounds. The skin is all pink and it doesn't look sore. With his coat condition, he has very thin fur, so there wasn't any matting and there wasn't any broken fur. It wasn't greasy, it wasn't dull, it was quite shiny and clean. There was no signs of sort of dirt in there either, so no fleas or any flea dirt. With his nails and pads, he had no broken nails or no split nails. He also had both his dew claws intact, which were the nails slightly higher up his leg. These were both intact, they hadn't been caught or ripped out. His pads were not cracked, they were very smooth and clean. He had no grass seeds stuck in his foot, which is a good sign as he is walked on fields quite often. So they are prone to getting grass seeds if they are walked on fields. With the genital area, he was free from any faeces. He had no stained fur from where he'd been urinating on himself. There was no discharge, no cuts or sores. He also had very short fur sort of around his anus. So that's where it stops the faeces getting stuck when he goes to the toilet. And it also shows that there is no chance of the fur growing into his bum, which again could cause infection and discomfort. The body condition, I can feel his ribs, there's no disfigurement, he has a waistline, he had no arch in his back, and he was standing very well. He wasn't standing with a limp, all four paws were on the table, he wasn't limping. Body function, obviously, as I know Gizmo very well, I know that he has a very good body function. He regularly urinates and he has regular faeces. He has no sickness or diarrhoea. He also walks very well, again has no limp. He walks very fluently, and with his behaviour, as I said, he was very well behaved. He isn't aggressive. He is slightly sensitive with his nails. But yeah, so when you do fill out a health check form, make sure that you are very, very informative and put as much down as you possibly can, everything you notice. And again, if the owner needs to be informed of anything, make sure you tell them and they can inform their vet if need be.